joining us for the Powerbomb pregame.
Massachusetts, you are watching Beyond Wrestling pregame on Powerbomb TV. Your opening contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. Your referee is Stephen Dumang. Introducing team number one to my left at a total combined weight of 378 pounds. First from Atlanta, Georgia, he is the current Powerbomb TV Independent Wrestling Champion, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. And he is Stokely Hathaway's number one client. His tag team partner from Plainview, Long Island, New York. He's better than you, and you know it. He is Stokely Hathaway's favorite client, Maxwell Friedman.
Already seen some dissension in the Dream Team with Stokely Hathaway absent here today at Electric Hayes in Worcester.
Their opponents to my right at a total combined weight of 384 pounds. He is Stokely's hottest client, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. His tag team partner, Stokely Hathaway, does not like him at all. YUTA, they are collectively known as Hot Wheelz.
Big thank you to everybody checking out the live stream right now at facebook.com/independent wrestling, youtube.com/beyond wrestling. Take a few minutes before the action gets underway to please share it. Let's get the entire world watching today as DC is going to be calling the action alongside Paul Crockett. We've got a tag team match kicking things off here at the Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb TV pregame.
So many moving parts here with Stokely Hathaway not being here, number one, but having three clients in the ring on opposite ends when you factor in other promotions, of course.
Of course, and you know, Powerbomb TV, you know, there's so many different promotions that are represented. Hopefully everybody's going to sign up using promo code WWRPRO. Gets you 20 days free. You can watch the Women's Wrestling Revolution tournament for tomorrow starting at 3:30 p.m. But right now it's about 2 o'clock. We're kicking things off with Hot Wheelz against the Dream Team as Hot Sauce Tracy Williams locks up with Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
MJF and Wheeler Yuta both involved in the tournament for tomorrow, which will continue next month, I believe, here in Beyond Wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between them.
Yep, that's coming up at Cold Brew in Melrose, Massachusetts, a doubleheader with Evolve Wrestling on Sunday, December 10th. More information, beyondwrestlingonline.com. As we see Hot Sauce Tracy Williams tying MJF into a knot. MJF is going to try and get one of those feet over to the ropes. And let's see if Gresham, perhaps some words of advice, or you know, you're going to wonder. They're on the same team, but is there a competitive relationship, let's say?
Very competitive relationship, and I didn't think MJF was capable of teaming with anyone other than himself in the world of professional wrestling. So it's going to be interesting to see the tag team dynamic and if he can handle that pressure.
Speaking of the pressure, Wheeler Yuta standing alone in the ring with Jonathan Gresham right now. Jonathan Gresham, one of the very best technical wrestlers. His scientific acumen cannot be matched, and that is why he is the Powerbomb TV Independent Wrestling Champion. We saw his first successful defense here in this very building just about a month ago against Flip Gordon, and his most recent defense last night at the Was Up special, where he defeated Nick Gage via countout in both of those matches. However, Nick Gage is going to have David Starr in a no disqualification match in just a few minutes later on in this broadcast. Of course, that's going to get violent quick, and that's what Worcester, Massachusetts is known for.
If it didn't get violent quick, I would be shocked. It would be weird.
That's why I like doing commentary. We're safe up here where we can be protected. If the action comes up here, just jump out of a window. Where the action is not going to be leaving the ring is in this bout right here, this tag team encounter between Hot Wheelz and the Dream Team, as both of these men, Wheeler Yuta in the green trunks and Jonathan Gresham in the red trunks, going hold for hold, and as well-trained as Wheeler Yuta is between both Hot Sauce Tracy Williams and the amazing Gulax, you're still going to think that Gresham has the advantage.
Wheeler YUTA, I would kind of describe him as a hybrid style of athlete, but don't get it twisted. He can go in there and he can go hold for hold technically with just about anyone, and I say just about anyone because he is in there with someone I consider to probably be pound for pound the best technician on the planet right now. And of course, Wheeler YUTA coming off a tour of Michinoku Pro in Japan recently, so he's picked up a lot of different styles, and there are a lot of good technicians over there as well.
Sure, but that's one tour. Jonathan Gresham has made an entire career out of touring places in the world that you didn't even know that they had professional wrestling, learning from wrestlers that have taught him things that probably nobody else in the United States knows. So very difficult to match up with Jonathan Gresham. Wheeler YUTA, though, able to find a counter in this exchange, able to kick out of the pin and go into a half Nelson as he transitions to hold. Almost like a $1 million dream, applied to the dream team, trying to put his opponent to sleep.
And if there's somebody you can pick up technical acumen from, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams is a fantastic one too. So the fact that they have been teaming a little more regularly here and beyond should show you something, but you can't teach that either.
Jonathan Gresham, ever since he won the Independent Wrestling Championship, just his entire disposition has completely changed. And I say that with a sigh because it's kind of disappointing. I mean, just rewind about a year ago where we saw Jonathan Gresham his series of matches with Zack Sabre Jr., which headlined American Rana 2016 in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And I mean, that's somebody that beat one of the very best wrestlers in the world on his own. And even though Stokely Hathaway may not be here physically today, his presence is still being felt.
Oh, no.
MJF landed hard on that knee, a rudimentary leapfrog as Wheeler YUTA held onto the ropes. And just like that, Jonathan Gresham taking that opportunity to blast his opponent from behind, and obviously MJF laid the trap, and Wheeler YUTA, the rookie, is paying for it right here.
And exactly what you were talking about. A year ago, that would not have happened with Jonathan Gresham in a tag team match, whether he was teaming with Zack Sabre Jr. like he did here.
He wouldn't take any shortcuts. He wouldn't cheat. He wouldn't bend the rules. He would beat everybody still, but it would be because he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Now it seems like, I don't know if he's concerned about the schedule being champion, whatever the case may be. Maybe just because Stokely Hathaway is providing him more money as his agent. I don't know. I can only speculate. And I'm sure Stokely Hathaway is watching somewhere in Canada right now, and he's not too keen on that speculation.
I've known Jonathan Gresham both in and out of the ring for a while now. He was one of the more upstanding guys that I ever met, but the change that I've seen both in and out of the ring since that time, it's apparent, and I'm as shocked as you are, and I don't like it either.
I mean, looking earlier back in the year, we saw Jonathan Gresham. He was victorious over both Michael Elgin and Brian Cage with an unbelievable pinning combination that I do believe. Oh, now see, come on. And that is not an unbelievable pinning combination. That is super cocky. You're not going to win any matches like that. But you're going to send a message to everybody watching at Facebook.com, Independent Wrestling, YouTube.com, Beyond Wrestling. You're going to be sending a message to everybody here in the locker room, Beyond Wrestling today, and pretty much everybody that's watching worldwide that could be a potential opponent for Jonathan Gresham. This is an entirely different beast. If you thought you had scouted Gresham in the past, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And to play devil's advocate, as much as I don't like the attitude change in Jonathan Gresham, you also cannot disagree with the results. He's holding a very prestigious championship. He's defending it all over the country now, and he's seeing results that he previously hadn't.
Well, MJF and Gresham, despite their spat at the onset of the contest, working very well together. And MJF now just pulling away at the face. A second away from disqualification. The official's got his hands full in this contest.
And if your attitude is going to change, if you're going to be weaselly, dastardly, horrendous as a human being, there's no better person to team with than MJF and to learn those tactics.
Garbage person.
Yes.
And it was just about a year ago this time that MJF competed for his first match in Beyond Wrestling. You watch it for free at youtube.com/Beyond Wrestling at a studio taping at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy in North Andover, Massachusetts. And I mean, MJF has become a regular here on Beyond Wrestling events in less than a year. He said it was that match that he had at the studio taping that turned his entire career around. And, you know, there's a short list of breakout wrestlers in 2017 that have taken the industry by storm. MJF is certainly one of them. He's everywhere right now.
And YUTA fighting back. Can he get to that tag in the corner with Hot Sauce Tracy Williams?
Well, this is where Stokely Hathaway would be helpful, trying to coordinate some tag team strategy for the Dream Team, as Jonathan Gresham and MJF, a meeting of the minds, not doing so hot. Gresham elevated up and over, catching himself on the apron. MJF missing wildly with that clothesline. And here comes Tracy Williams, who's got a lot of pent-up anger and aggression. Hot sauce is hot right now.
And there's no need for technical maneuvers now. He's coming hot and heavy.
Tracy Williams. Are we going to see the tide turning in this matchup? The drop kick now, the clothesline, and the chop. That's certainly not technical wrestling. That's something you'd see in a street fight. Wow, great combination out of hot sauce, taking MJF off his feet, but Gresham sliding in to make sure that the Dream Team's chances stay alive in this contest.
Tracy Williams is known as a technical wrestler, but the strikes he throws are so hard.
I
and
would say
so
that,
brutal.
you know, in the same vein of you saying that Wheeler Yuta is a hybrid wrestler, I would say the same for Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. I think sometimes that maybe his technical acumen is so profound that people sell him short as a striker. So far, it's been the strikes that have just been, you know, inching the Hot Wheels team closer and closer towards a victory here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Great misdirection, double jump springboard. Wheeler Yuta finding the mark. MJF charging in up on the shoulders of Hot Sauce Tracy Williams right now. Oh, that's not good. Driving him down knee first. And of course, in order to kick out when your leg is hooked, you kind of have to shift your body's weight. You need that leg strength. That was what was disabled right there, and that's why Gresham had to break it up in order to keep this match going. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams taken down to the floor. Gresham sent there with them. Great match you can watch for youtube.com/Beyond Wrestling between Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Oh, and Jonathan Gresham. That's not where you're seeing right there. As I think Wheeler Yuta was looking to dive on the floor. Instead, he got caught in the groin. And then that pile driver, Hot Sauce trying to jump in, and Gresham smothering him on the floor. The Dream Team picking up the victory here at the Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb TV pregame.
And when he sees an opening, whether it's clean or not, MJF is going to take it every time, and that's why, despite what you may think of him as a person, which we've agreed is garbage, he knows how to take an opportunity and run with it.
I've got to say, I'm really surprised to see what's transpired with that matchup. And as you alluded to, both MJF and Wheeler Yuta did advance to the second round of the men's tournament for tomorrow. You can check that show out in Melrose, Massachusetts on Sunday, December 10th at 2 p.m. It's going to be Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Josh Briggs. And Wheeler Yuta is going to have his hands full with Mike Verna representing the Amityville Project. And you got to think that Dan Barry, Ryan Gallione, and Rex Lawless will be in tow. So two tough singles match coming up for both of these guys. We will see the finals of that tournament at the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts on Sunday, December 31st, as Jonathan Gresham is heading his way to the back, still get a hold of that Independent Wrestling Championship. You're going to wonder who's going to be the one to take it from him.
And I really wonder, Wheeler Yuta here not having to go against 2 or 3 other people on the floor to worry about, and he couldn't even handle the ref's back being turned for a few seconds. Is he going to be able to handle that many obstacles at the tournament for tomorrow?
Beyond Wrestling pregame, a precursor to the Women's Wrestling Revolution tournament for tomorrow, coming up this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. If you have not yet subscribed, subscribe right now to Powerbomb.tv. Use the password WWRPRO. That's WWRPRO. You'll get a free 20-day subscription, and you will see the Women's Wrestling Revolution tournament for tomorrow in its entirety this afternoon. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Your referee is Kevin Quinn.
Powerbomb TV pregame. If you guys are joining us for the Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb TV pregame right now, we want to thank you. Still got 3 big matches coming up, including Orange Cassidy versus John Silver, a 4-way with a whole lot of meat, and Nick Gage versus David Starr in a no disqualification match. And all I can say is, if you were on Twitter yesterday, news broke that Beyond Wrestling has signed an exclusive multi-year agreement with Powerbomb TV. So unfortunately, YouTube doing away with paid subscriptions. So youtube.com/BeyondDemand, unfortunately, starting in December, will be no longer. The entire extensive video on demand catalog for Beyond Wrestling dating back to 2009 in the coming weeks will be transferred to Powerbomb TV, starting with all 5 American Ranas this week. Check it out tomorrow at Powerbomb TV, and please subscribe using promo code WWRPRO if you intend on watching tonight's tournament for tomorrow. It's going to be all 3 rounds in one night. We're going to see Davian versus Vanity, Hot Scoop Skylar versus Jordan Grace. Karen Q's going to have her hands full with Willow Nightingale, Tasha Steeles versus Tara Calloway, and of course, Madison Rain making her WWR debut. She's going to be going one-on-one with somebody that she's very familiar with in Deonna Purrazzo. A few other non-tournament matches. That starts at 3:30 p.m. at Powerbomb.tv. Please use promo code WWRPRO. I'm going to throw it to Palladino for the intros.
Introducing first to my right, he's from wherever. His weight doesn't matter. He is freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. His opponent to my left from Long Island, New York, weighing in at 178 pounds, the Meat Man, Raw Dog, John Silver.
DC and Paul Crockett going to be calling the action. He's got the Meat Man, John Silver, who you've pointed out in the recent weeks is in a bit of a slump.
It's really shocking to me because he went on a very impressive run here in Beyond Wrestling, including wins over guys like Keith Lee, who is the current WWN champion. So to be able to do all that in Beyond Wrestling and then go on this losing streak, you got to kind of wonder, is there something going on upstairs?
Well, what do you think's changed?
I really can't point anything out. He still has the same aggressive nature. He still has the same fire. He still has the same desire. So I have to wonder if something is going on maybe outside of the ring that's carrying in.
Yeah, you got to wonder. You never know. It could be an injury. It could be personal issues. Right. And it's just not fair to speculate. But I do believe that John Silver's last victory in a Beyond Wrestling ring would have been at Bye Bye Beautiful against the UK's Zach Gibson. Of course, a show that you can check out if you want to purchase the DVD from Smart Mark Video. Will be added to Powerbomb TV in the coming weeks. That was our collaborative effort with Progress Wrestling in Boston, Massachusetts back in August. So let's see, August, September, October, November. Yeah, that's three months without a win. And for somebody like John Silver that's been at the top of the cards for Beyond Wrestling, I mean, I don't want to say that competing against the likes of Orange Cassidy is a bit of a downgrade, but it's not wrestling Keith Lee.
I'll say it, it's a bit of a downgrade because when Orange Cassidy comes into Beyond Wrestling, it's not against the caliber of talent like a John Silver or the guys that John Silver has wrestled, and it's particularly not in singles matches. We always see him in sort of mixed tags, multi-man tags, so he's in there very sparingly in the ring.
Well, he may or may not have helped kill a man last month
Yes.
against Dick Justice.
Correct.
The power guy.
Any update on that, the status of that cameraman?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's fine. Of course, this is the third Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb TV pregame. The previous two you can check out right now at Powerbomb TV. If you want to sign up using promo code WWRPRO, you get 20 days free. And I think Orange Cassidy thought that he had a victory over John Silver. And you know what? Maybe somebody like John Silver who's had a rough go at it, maybe today's his day to have fun. And then, you know, people like to regroup after the holidays.
Right.
Right? Everybody's got a New Year's resolution.
Right.
Right? I ate 25 pounds of turkey this weekend. I'll start my diet tomorrow.
Why does that not surprise me?
I'm not speaking for myself personally. I'm never going to go on a diet. You don't have to worry about that.
Now, Orange Cassidy is all about having a good time, speaking of which, but he's about to face a man who hits like a truck.
Yeah, and as soon as Orange Cassidy gets chopped, which just happened, pretty much his entire body turns red. So, you know, I don't want to necessarily say that Orange Cassidy is all about the fun and games. I do think a lot of it is mind games.
You really think he's a psychological master?
I mean, dude, he is a phenomenal athlete. Look at the shape that he's in. We've seen him bust out some pretty unbelievable stuff. And, you know, I don't think that if somebody didn't want to participate in independent wrestling, that they would find their way to Electric Haze in Worcester, Massachusetts to put up with this. It's an easy spot to get to off the highway, but it's not exactly Philadelphia, which is where he was last night. I don't know, who got the better of that chop battle?
And you're right. I think he might be more of a master at mind games than I'm giving him credit for.
Oh, man. Right now he's a master getting knocked to the mat.
Yeah, mind games go out the window when you get hit like that.
Interesting dichotomy in this matchup. See if John Silver is going to be wrestling Orange Cassidy's matchup or vice versa. No, it's vice versa right now as Orange Cassidy is suffering through John Silver's matchup.
I do think that if John Silver has any shred of doubt in this match, which, if you think about it, he shouldn't, but if any shred of doubt enters his mind, I do think Orange Cassidy has enough to pull something out of his bag of tricks.
Fair enough. I mean, I do too. You know, I don't like putting together matches that are just complete mismatches. It doesn't really do much for anybody. It's kind of a waste of time. You know, one of the things is, you know, what's going to give the fans the best possible show, but what's going to feature these competitors in the best possible way. And I mean, John Silver, if he was to win via submission via Beal, that would be shocking.
Yes.
But, you know, I do think that Orange Cassidy's got a little juice left in the tank. Did you like that?
I did. And he can take a beating, too. That's another thing about him that's underrated.
Sure.
He can get in there and take a hammering from whoever it may be, and somehow he finds his way in the right spot at the right time.
Sure. And as you had alluded to, obviously Orange Cassidy involved in a lot of tag team multi-man matches. His partner Chuck Taylor's in Japan right now.
In the World Tag League, which is still shocking to me, but somehow he's there and they're winning over there.
It could have been Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. It was Chuck Taylor and Trent.
God, I would love to see 10 Cozy against Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, but maybe another year.
Well, the official is going to be issuing disqualification if Orange Cassidy does not get down from the top rope.
Is he trying to hide up there? And again, this gets Silver out of a rhythm. That's another thing about John Silver.
That's what I'm telling you about the mind games. Orange Cassidy isn't a dummy. Uh-oh, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Stupidest man alive.
And that was impressive. One-handed.
Silver looking for that easy payday, trying to take things home. That spinning power bomb. Uh-oh, Orange Cassidy, though, able to wrap the legs around the head of John Silver. I don't think Silver was expecting that. Whoa!
What a forearm.
Where did that come from? Orange Cassidy now, the Michinoku driver, hook of the leg. Things have certainly picked him. Now it's Orange Cassidy wrestling John Silver's match.
Look at my jaw on the ground, on the floor after that flurry from Orange Cassidy. I can't believe I just saw that.
I'm telling you, at some point, Orange Cassidy's in there on his own. Things are going to have to pick up as he's heading over to that corner right now. He had that orange juice tucked under the apron.
And speaking of Japan, could we see some sort of...
I don't know where you're going with this.
I thought he was going somewhere else. He's just rehydrating.
Oh, okay. I want to see him swallow.
Okay.
All right.
Back to the action.
Oh! That didn't work out for him. Oh, but neither did that. A step-up enziguri cutting John Silver off of the past. Oh! Never mind getting cut off the pass. How about having your head decapitated? Silver now might be looking for that pump kick to the back of the head. Cassidy could not get out of the way of it. He's going to be knocked out. Oh, crazy release suplex. Silver's got this one.
I thought he landed right on top of his head. I don't know how he's moving.
Why isn't Silver going for the pin right now? Silver sizing up, maybe looking for that punt kick. Uh-oh, Orange Cassidy's out of the way. Got him stacked up. Look at that folding press. Whoa.
And when opportunity knocks, Orange Cassidy finds a way to win in Beyond Wrestling.
That's not... That is unexpected. As Orange Cassidy is victorious here. I don't even think Orange Cassidy can believe it.
No, he can't. Look at the look on his face.
I mean, you got to give him credit. That was a really effective pinning combination.
Very effective. The technique was perfect, and there was no way John Silver was getting out of it.
Again, you know, John Silver, I'm just wondering, maybe he didn't take Orange Cassidy seriously enough coming into this matchup?
That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh!
Come on, John, you're better than this.
He certainly got Orange Cassidy's attention right now. Damn, caught him with the Batista bomb. Silver ain't done. What the hell is going on with John Silver right here?
This is so unlike him.
Oh! And completely uncalled for. That, even in a professional wrestling match, is crossing the line. Never mind after the fact. as John Silver has lost his mind here at Electric Hayes in Worcester.
There's clearly something more going on with him. This is the worst I've ever seen John Silver in.
You got to think that the frustration's finally rearing their ugly head. It's been a rough couple months here for John Silver, but I mean, Orange Cassidy is a beloved member of the Beyond Wrestling roster, and to kick another man in the skull like that is just, I'm telling you, man, it's crossing the line. It's not acceptable.
And it's not like Orange did anything. He was just competing.
Even in a professional wrestling match, the goal is not to hurt your opponent.
And your winner is Orange Cassidy.
The goal is to incapacitate your opponent to the point where you can pin him to the mat for 3 seconds. Something like a kick like that to the temple. You're not punting a football. You're kicking a man's head. This is another human being. So even in the context of a match, I would think that's unacceptable. Given the set of circumstances, I'm even more disappointed. So,
well, hopefully Orange is all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to everybody kind of watching at home. That pretty much put a damper on things for me. But throw it to Palladino.
Continues with a fatal four-way match, and it's scheduled for
Palladino, a consummate professional, keeping it together. I will do my best to do so, as we've got a four-way match coming up with a whole lot of meat. But again, if you're just tuning in right now, we've still got a four-way match with Ace Romero, Brian Milonas, Josh Briggs, and KTB coming up, as well as the no disqualification main event between Nick Gage and David Starr. So please, if you're watching at youtube.com/Beyond Wrestling, facebook.com/Independent Wrestling, take a couple seconds, share the stream. We're going to be going live on Powerbomb TV at 3:30 p.m. for the Women's Wrestling Revolution tournament for tomorrow. It's going to be all 3 rounds of that tournament. Got a few non-tournament matches, including Jenny Rose versus Alexis, as well as a grudge match between Veda Scott and Sonia Strong. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's part of the Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb TV pregame. So we've got Ace Romero, who's pretty much dubbed himself Mr. Powerbomb TV. He's been really excelling in these Powerbomb pre-shows, Powerbomb pre-games, and obviously has done a lot with a victory over John Silver just about a month ago to earn a lot of goodwill with the fans here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, he was eliminated in the first round of the men's tournament for tomorrow against Josh Briggs, and tonight he will share the ring with a former partner and somebody that he's had a rivalry with in 2017 in Brian Milonas. And Brian Milonas recently aligning himself with Cam Zagami after Cam Zagami's partners at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy kind of turned their back on him. So, I mean, it's kind of a lot to digest. It's better off if you just watch the Beyond Wrestling live events. We got 2 up right now. Far Beyond Wrestling and Apocalypse Dudes, as well as both Powerbomb pre-games. You can watch those both right now at Powerbomb TV. Sign up using promo code WWRPRO. You got 20 days free. And, of course, the Beyond Demand Video On Demand library. That catalog is getting moved over within the next couple weeks as Beyond Wrestling has signed an exclusive agreement, a multi-year deal with Powerbomb TV. So in addition to the live streams at the end of every month, pretty much all VOD content is going to be moving to Powerbomb TV from Beyond Demand. And we've got Ace Romero, Brian Milonas, Kyle the Beast is making his entrance right now. And Kyle the Beast is a newcomer here, certainly, but do not sell him short. He may actually be the strongest man in this matchup as we anticipate the arrival of one Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs is victorious over Ace Romero in the first round of tournament for tomorrow. As we had mentioned, he's going to be moving on to the second round on Sunday, December 10th, Melrose, Massachusetts, Beyond Wrestling Cold Brew. And it's going to be Josh Briggs against MJF, who we saw victorious early on tonight over Wheeler YUTA with a kick to the groin and a pile driver in the ropes. And Josh Briggs is somebody that has been a revelation here in Beyond Wrestling in 2017. Just as we said that MJF had a breakout performance at the studio taping in November of 2016, Josh Briggs had that breakout performance just this past July, just a couple weeks before American Rana 17, making his debut at American Rana 17, answering Cam Zagami's open challenges. And for a few months, we saw him as the man that was answering the open challenges here in Beyond Wrestling. Last month, Ace Romero laid out the gauntlet. He called out Josh Briggs, and unfortunately, Briggs was just too much to handle. You can watch their matchup, the first round of tournament for tomorrow at Beyond Wrestling, as part of Beyond Wrestling's unprofessional live event. And now I think that it's Josh Briggs. That's the one that's going to be calling the shots here. I got to say, I don't want to be biased, Paul Crockett, but I do think that Josh Briggs is the favorite in this matchup, as we're going to throw the introductions to Palladino.
Introducing first, in the corner to my right, from Saco, Maine, representing the Strong Style brand, weighing in at 360 pounds, AC Baby. Mr. Powerbomb fucking pregame, AC Baby.
They love the swears, Crockett.
His opponent in the corner to my left is accompanied to ringside by Cam to give a damn, Cassidy. He represents from Manchester, New Hampshire, weighing in at 395 pounds. He is the irresistible force and the immovable object, the Kingpin, Brian Milonas. Their opponent in the corner to my right, from the woods, weighing in at 257 pounds, KTB. And their opponent in the corner to my left, from Nothing, Arizona, weighing in at 269 pounds. Chances are he doesn't like you, Josh Briggs.
Matchup about to get underway. DC and Paul Crockett, signature Beyond Wrestling four-way. This is the match combination that put Beyond Wrestling on the map. Is these chaotic four-way matches, one fall to a finish, and I'm surprised to see the. Let me call the damn show cam. Somebody had to do it, as Cam Zagami gets drop kicked into Milonas, but with Ace having sights set on Milonas, he got kicked by Josh Briggs, KTB, sending Brian Milonas to the floor, and this one's going to be pretty much non-stop action, I would have to anticipate.
And Cam Zagami didn't learn his lesson, apparently. He's still in the ring, and I'm going to say this is a mistake.
Uh-oh, Cam Zagami's going to be careful right here. Oh, getting launched up and over and wiping out Brian Milonas.
Do you know how many people wish they could do that to Cam Zagami? But Kyle the Beast and Josh Briggs got to do it.
Again, Josh Briggs making his Beyond Wrestling live event debut against Cam Zagami in American Rana 17. You're going to think there's no love lost between Ace Romero and Josh Briggs, just about 2 weeks removed from their tournament for tomorrow, round one matchup. I know that Ace Romero very disappointed that he came up short. I think that a lot of fans that he thought he was a shoo-in, a favorite to win the entire tournament. Oh!
And AC Baby flies.
Tell you what, man, I do not envy any of the competitors in these four-way matchups. It is so hard. You have to have eyes in the back of your head. Brian Milonas thought he was safe on the floor. Meanwhile, the 400-pound Ace Romero caught him on the outside.
And remember, Kyle the Beast back in May had a fantastic showing against the injured Chuck O'Neal at Death Kneel in Somerville. So he's familiar with this atmosphere.
Yeah, we saw KTB victorious. Oh, as Briggs is able to move out of the way. Victorious is part of Team Game Changer Wrestling against Team Pazuzu back at Denim Recruits in October. Guys, you got to subscribe to Powerbomb TV. All of these shows that we're talking about are going to get added in the coming weeks. As Josh Briggs has his sights set on Brian Milonas on the floor. No, Milonas in the ring. He keeps looking behind him. What's going on here? Oh, it's Briggs with a springboard tumbleweed.
You don't look at a guy Josh Briggs' size and think he can do that, but he can do that and then some.
Dude, he confronted me outside earlier today, and I was looking basically at his navel, and it's just like, are you really always this tall? Josh Briggs is an enormous fella, but is he bigger than Brian Milonas, who's scaling to the top right now?
I don't know, but we're going to find out if Milonas has the high-flying acumen.
Oh, damn, Milonas going for it. You got to be kidding me.
I wouldn't call it graceful, but it was very effective.
I'm surprised. It felt like the earth moved. We're on a different floor. I thought that
There's still an aftershock up here. I'm still shaking.
I thought that the floor was going to collapse. It's like anybody preparing for their match at WWR, like a horrible tragedy here at Electric Haze, as the floor collapses and the earth swallows up an entire promotion.
And I don't know how either of these guys are standing yet, but they're back on their feet. This is incredible.
I mean, all four of these guys really reinventing what it means to be a super heavyweight in 2017. And you almost wonder, is it out of instinct that Milonas and Ace almost seem to be back on the same page?
Has to be adrenaline. I can't think of anything else because that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I remember being with you there at the studio tapings and you looking at Josh Briggs and going, who the hell is this guy? After his match with MJF.
Oh, dude, when somebody's got a lot of hype, sometimes it can be tough to live up to it. Are we going to see Triple XL rekindled here?
And are we going to see the Kingpin fly again? This is unbelievable. Twice in one match.
Are we going to see the top rope wrestling ring broken? Uh-oh. But both these guys taking too much time trying to find their footing as Kyle the Beast and Josh Briggs back up to a vertical base.
It seemed like they forgot that this is every man for themselves.
Every man for themselves, one fall to a finish. Maybe some old habits die hard. Oh! Milonas double goozle slammed down hard.
And it took two men to even get him up that high.
What is Cam Zakami doing in this matchup? He's not a legal participant.
Well, whatever it is, it's not going to end well.
Oh, Cam Zakami holding on to the ceiling. That's one way to avoid contact with both these guys. Oh!
Now that's some ingenuity on the part of Cam.
Oh, but Cam, unfortunately, losing his grip. Oh! But as Kyle the Beast slammed Cam down, wasn't concentrating on somebody that he could actually beat in this matchup in Ace Romero.
Ace Romero almost sneakily took one away, and that's not an adjective I use very often with Ace Romero.
Because it's not a word.
Yes, it is.
Show me an Oxford dictionary.
All right, somebody get me an Oxford dictionary, someone.
All right, back to the action in the ring. All four of these guys are down. Man, they were really dropping some big bombs at the early onset. This match is only a few minutes in, and all these guys are struggling. I know the biggest competitors don't always have the best win, and that kind of brings me to, again, going back to my favorite of this matchup, with Josh Briggs maybe giving up in weight. You know, he certainly makes up for, excuse me, oh my God. Ace Romero just letting the profanities fly and letting Josh Briggs fly too. I was gonna say he can make up for cardiovascular turns, but, oh!
Beautiful lion salt by Kyle the Beast.
Kyle the Beast cleared the entire ring. Oh man. And just ran into a wall known as Brian Milonas, the Kingpin.
He had a head full of steam with that lariat too and still bounced off the wall.
Oh man, Milonas didn't even budge. That looked ridiculous.
And now this could be Milonas' opportunity to finish things here. Let's see if he can
Well,
take
just 2 months ago, Brian Milonas had an open challenge that Josh Briggs responded to. Excuse me, that was only about a month ago. And Josh Briggs was victorious. And Josh Briggs is going to be looking to finish this with his variation of an iconoclasm, saying, I hope you die. And Cam Zakami.
I can't believe he's still moving.
Did we not hire security today? Like, can we get rid of this guy?
When the nuclear holocaust comes, it's going to be cockroaches and Cam Zakami still alive.
Not if Josh Briggs has anything to do with that. Briggs seems conflicted right here. Oh man.
No. Good
Not
Lord.
conflicted. Just wrestling smart. Kill two birds with one stone. One bird may be an ostrich and the other may be a penguin, but let's not split hairs. As Briggs now has got him hooked up. Oh, KTP, what a counter. This kid impressive every time we see him here at Beyond Wrestling. Really trying to earn that full-time spot. Great combination. Oh, but taking too much time with that moonsault. Briggs going for that choke slam once again. Oh, getting both knees underneath KTB. And KTB down for the count. Josh Briggs is victorious.
Josh Briggs is a finisher, and that's what he does better than almost anyone in Beyond.
Interesting for me to see that both Josh Briggs and MJF were victorious in their matches here tonight, as both of them head for an encounter at Beyond Wrestling Cold Brew on Sunday, December 10th, the second round. Josh Briggs saying that he is Mr. Powerbomb pregame. And with results like that, it's hard to argue. You see Josh Briggs versus MJF one-on-one Sunday, December 10th. As the fans showing their appreciation, Kyle the Beast with a please come back chant.
I think he earned it.
Absolutely, as we're gonna go to Rich Palladino for the introductions of our main event as the ring crew is, wait a minute.
Oh no.
Wait a minute, that's a barbed wire board.
I know we're in the Eagle's Nest, but are we in the ECW Arena in 1997?
Okay, I see a barbed wire board. I see 2 steel chairs. I see 2 more barbed wire boards.
You didn't tell me you were bringing some of the deathmatch guys from Japan in.
I mean, Nick Gage versus David Starr. David Starr has been asking for this match for 2 years. Nick Gage's incarceration putting a wrench in the plans. But I mean, even this is a little bit too... I mean, a no disqualification match, pretty much anything goes here at Electric Haze in Worcester, Massachusetts.
You didn't tell me you brought Onita in.
Well, hopefully none of these boards are exploding. So we've got 2 set up in the corner. And the sick mind of Top Rope Wrestling Steve Ricard, who rents us our ring every month, in spite of the fact that we do barbed wire death matches unannounced for the fans watching on Facebook.com/independent wrestling and YouTube.com/Beyond Wrestling.
Well, things do get a little more crazy when we're in this venue for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I've got advice for people watching right now. You got 1 or 2 choices. Either put the kids to bed or share it with the world, because we like to get crazy here at Beyond Wrestling, and the Powerbomb pregame is no exception. David Starr standing in the ring, looking at the barbed wire, sizing up those 6-foot boards. You're gonna think he's wondering, what the hell did I get myself into? What am I asking for? This is Nick Gage's element. Nick Gage is out of prison, and he is not afraid of any man. He basically said that he doesn't even fear God because he is God.
David Starr has been calling Nick Gage out for a very, very long time, and when Nick Gage answers, he answers very loudly and very specifically.
I mean, this looks more like a Game Changer wrestling show than a Beyond Wrestling show. Obviously, our doubleheader with GCW back in October 28th for Denim Recruits. We saw Nick Gage make his return to Beyond Wrestling, teaming with Nate Hatred against the Hit Squad. That's a show you can catch out coming soon to Powerbomb.tv.
First to my right from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing in at 201 pounds, he's the cream in your coffee, your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, the Jewish Cannon, the physical embodiment of charisma, the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling, the most entertaining man in professional wrestling, Mr. American Rana, TV Wrestling, the 104-minute man, the main event. He's really good at Twitter. He is the ace of Beyond Wrestling, the king of taunts, the product, David Starr. His opponent to my left, fighting out of National Park, New Jersey, weighing in today at 210 pounds, representing that murder, death, kill gang, Eastern Bloc, Hit Club, gang affiliated.
DC and Crockett going to be calling the main event here, the Beyond Wrestling Powerbomb pregame. It's November 26, 2017. We're here at Electric Haze in Worcester, Massachusetts, at least until the cops come.
David Starr calls himself the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling. I don't ever remember Bernie Sanders being in a predicament such as this.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders barbed wire match. You know, I don't really, I'm not too into the political stuff. As David Starr now is going to be very, very careful right here. We saw Nick Gage go almost 20 minutes with Jonathan Gresham last night as part of the Powerbomb TV special Was Up, a last-minute replacement for Jody Fleisch, who had injured his leg the night before in Cleveland. And I think, if anything, Nick Gage proved last night that he can do it all. But the one intangible that Nick Gage may have over David Starr is that he's as tough as they come. Toughest, scariest guy I've ever met.
And fears nothing.
Fears nothing. He just opened a wrestling school, the Game Changer Compound, with Homicide. Imagine being trained by Homicide and Nick Gage.
This looks like the warm-up session at that school, I think.
Just goes to show you, though, even though Nick Gage is known primarily for his accolades in the deathmatch wrestling scene, I mean, David Starr, is one of the most accomplished technical wrestlers, and instead, he just sent Nick Gage hurling into a barbed wire board.
And Gage brought out all the toys, and David Starr was the first one to utilize them. That actually surprises me.
That just goes to show you how desperate David Starr is. And when the barbed wire becomes a factor, you got to be very careful. Oh, God. Nick Gage is all tangled up already. And you kind of wonder, is David Starr, I mean, Nick Gage has at least done his best to cover himself up. He's got the GCW logo emblazoned on his chest. He's ready for war as he's got those camouflage pants on. But David Starr came into this no disqualification matchup with regular ring attire.
Going through one of those boards like that with barbed wire would put out, I think, 90% of the men in professional wrestling, and Nick Gage is up.
Because, dude, at that point, when you're in that much pain, that's where you're beat mentally. Physically, maybe you are capable of kicking out, but you don't want to endure that pain any further. That's when you lay down for the count. And I don't know if David Starr's prepared for that today. I got to think that one taste of that barbed wire, he's going to be done. But what is David Starr going for right here?
You're going to be kidding me.
What did he put under the ring? That's a jar of thumbtacks.
We have a staple gun, some chairs, some barbed wire tables, and that's not enough, apparently.
Well, maybe David Starr came into this matchup with a very specific plan.
The last time Tax came into this building, Matt Riddle ended up walking through them. So we're not unfamiliar with this, but it's very surprising to see David Starr go for this bag of tricks this early.
Sure, of course. Just a couple months ago, too, we saw Matt Tremont versus Ace Romero in a 15,000 thumbtack match, which was broadcast live on the Powerbomb TV pregame. So, yeah, like you said, I don't know. Something happens with these Beyond Wrestling shows here in Worcester. It's like a lawless land. As David Starr, gonna think he took too much time. Oh, no! And Nick Gage making him pay for it with that Uranagi.
And it's getting bloody and violent already.
It's in his ass and his crotch.
That's the last place you want that.
Yeah, that's
Tax.
like that's enough to give up the match, I think.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, Nick Gage giving David Starr a mouthful of thumbtacks. Oh! That'll cut up the inside of your mouth. God forbid you swallow one. The referee Kevin Quinn not prepared for this, only now taking out his gloves.
He almost didn't make the count. He looked afraid to even hit the mat.
I think that if we would have known there was thumbtacks, that the official would have been given protective gear for his knees and his eyes. I mean, but this has certainly escalated quickly.
And Nick Gage already bleeding from the elbow and probably doesn't even notice it, doesn't even care.
Dude, unfortunately, I hate to say it, not to downplay the significance of this matchup, but I'm sure with all the time that Gage spent in prison, this is like a walk in the park. This is his wheelhouse.
Absolutely, and I don't know if David Starr is mentally prepared, because it's one thing to know who you're going in there against. It's another when you get in there and it's actually happening.
Of course. As Gage looks to escalate David Starr on that top turnbuckle, you got to think he's going to be looking for a suplex from the heavens, taking him down to hell. Be not only through that barbed wire board, but also through the thumbtacks.
I hope we have some EMTs in the house.
I mean, we have like a first aid kit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no! Nick Gage bleeding from the top of his head, but it might be David Starr that's going to have to go to the hospital. Not only the impact on that barbed wire board, but he landed on one of those chairs. And just even an uneven landing like that can pop a bone out of place. And I mean, if you can't use your arms or legs, you can't defend yourself against Nick Gage with a Falcon into the barbed wire and the thumbtacks.
That had to be instinct. I don't know what other way he could have kicked out of that. That had to be instinct.
Oh, David Starr's holding his hand. I hope that he taped up his wrists well. I mean, Nick Gage was legally dead for about 10 minutes because of a cut that he suffered underneath his armpit at a Tournament of Death where he had to go in the helicopter to the hospital. They had to revive him due to blood loss because he severed an artery under his armpit. I mean, I do not like matches like this.
Well, that's why the scratches on his arm and in his head, like you said, walk in the park for him. And I don't know what he could possibly come up with next because he put Starr through a chair and a barbed wire board with tacks.
Oh, you see Starr's back all bloodied up now. But telling you, man, this is the match he's been asking for 2 years. Gage was just trying to take a bite out of David Starr. Looking to suplex him in the ring now, trying to find leverage by placing his foot on the bottom rope. Starr doing the same to block. Uh-oh.
And Starr fighting with everything he has left in his body to not go in again.
Oh, shit!
Gage's head bounces off like a basketball.
And David Starr's feeling it right now.
I don't know if Gage knows where he is right now. This is Starr's opportunity. He better take it.
David Starr, the self-proclaimed ace of Beyond Wrestling. Joey Janela would probably like to have a word with him. He's competing in the UK for the entire month of November. Interesting that Joey Janela and David Starr have not been competing on the same shows here in Beyond Wrestling since American Rana 17. And just like that, I mean, you saw David Starr, how much trouble he had just finding his footing because there's thumbtacks. They almost act like little marbles when you're trying to plant yourself. He couldn't even, he didn't get all that side slam. Am I crazy?
And no, you're not. But do you think David Starr is competing in these style of matches to prove something to Joey Janela that he can do it all as well?
I mean, that's certainly got to be something, whether or not it's subconscious or otherwise, that's got to be driving David Starr. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the next time that we're going to see David Starr and Joey Janela in the same building at the same time is going to be just about a couple weeks from today in Melrose, Massachusetts, Sunday, December 10th, Beyond Wrestling Cold Brew. It's going to be David Starr versus Walter for the first time in the United States, Joey Janela versus Keith Lee for the first time in the United States. That's if David Starr survives Nick Gage today, who's looking to size up David Starr and go punch for punch with him. I don't think that David Starr wants to do it.
Oh, no.
What?
Staple gun. Are they going to have a duel at 10 paces?
I don't understand this at all.
I think insanity has slipped into both of these men's minds.
This is like, they wouldn't even do this in Jackass.
Oh!
Nick Gage not even flinting. Nick Gage is getting more and more powerful.
This is like feeding Popeye spinach to Nick Gage.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about flinching. Yeah, David Starr better be lucky he doesn't get both of his eyelids stapled shut.
Oh, no! Kevin Quinn's been hit.
I'm telling you, these guys seem to be wearing goggles.
Luckily, we have a second referee at ringside.
Oh! Bad landing. And Nick Gage eating the brunt of that with that bloodied up elbow.
I don't know why David Starr's not going for a cover. I would want to get out of here as fast as possible.
It's as simple as that. He's hurt. He is hurt. When the thumbtacks get introduced this early in the match, there's not a position that you could find in the ring where you're going to be safe from landing in them. David Starr is hurt. Nick Gage is also hurt. Kevin Quinn is hurt. Kevin Quinn, though, at least, I mean, Nick Gage just shot a staple gun at him, and Kevin Quinn still had the wherewithal to check to see if he could continue. So
now what's he asking for? He's cutting the barbed wire off the board now. He got some pliers that referee Kevin Quinn had just in case somebody got tangled up.
God forbid the match couldn't continue because these two competitors were entangled in the barbed wire. But, you know, one of the, I don't know. It's a barbed wire board. It's not just free barbed wire. You can't just.
And I think David Starr is finding something within himself that I don't even think he had as far as mentally being able to go to that next level. Look at, he's hurting himself just to get another weapon.
David Starr, he's just he's ripping at barbed wire right now. He's out of his mind.
Not since Sabu in the 90s have I seen something like this.
David Starr keeps pulling away at this barbed wire. What is he trying to prove right here?
I think he's
cutting
going for
up his hands.
He's
got
to be
tunnel
going
vision.
For the kill.
I mean, that could have been a weapon that could have been used against Nick Gage. This is really starting to get uncomfortable here. As David Starr has pulled away the barbed wire board next to Nick Gage.
And I think he just said he's going to murder him now.
Well, David Starr obviously not having enough strength in his hand with his hand all cut up. I mean, this tunnel vision it really could go back to cost him right here. I don't understand the purpose of trying to free this barbed wire.
And just to add a little insult to injury, a couple more staples to the head.
David Starr continues to try and tear away at that barbed wire. Telling you, man, you don't want to give somebody like Nick Gage this much time to recover.
And I think he has some better ones.
I don't think the officials should be assisting David Starr here, though.
Finally got it out. And I wonder what is on his mind
I don't know.
now.
Why not just take that and just stab Nick Gage in the head? Just send him right to the hospital. He's got a full spindle of barbed wire right here.
Oh, he's going to put it. No. No. Oh, he's choking him.
Oh, well, heavy lies the crown. So does bloody lies the crown, I guess, here today. As,
Where's that fucking crimson mask, huh? I'm Mr. fucking King. Are you a fucking king? I don't think so, motherfucker. David Starr's kicking your fucking ass.
Nick Gage firing back. No. Starts choking him with the barbed wire, hurting his own forearm.
He's going to be careful he doesn't
it.
cut his own armpit. Damn, an elbow to the back of the head. Oh, the brain buster on the knee with his face wrapped in barbed wire. And now David Starr is choking the life out of Nick Gage. Nick Gage is going to get a hand underneath there.
And Kevin Quinn might need to stop this himself.
He's asking Gage to talk to him. Is Gage responding? He's holding on.
And
Kevin Quinn using the proper discretion to end the matchup. That was gross. That was completely uncalled for.
And if Joey Janela thinks he's the only one that can take it to the next level, David Starr just proved him wrong.
Nick Gage with a grueling schedule this weekend, but I mean, when have you ever seen somebody go to the lengths that David Starr did, completely out of his element? And I mean, really, it's like pain. What's the expression? Pain is temporary, but
pride is forever.
Well, David Starr certainly can be proud that he defeated Nick Gage. I mean, I don't know if Nick Gage gave it up. I think it was smart for the official to call it either way.
And I've seen some crazy things here in Beyond Wrestling over the years, but that might have topped them all.
Well, if I'm David Starr, I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving Worcester. I did what I came here to prove. You're going to stay in the ring with Nick Gage?
And I don't think they're done.
What? Okay, David Starr starting to backtrack. It's him and Nick Gage going face to face. Both of these guys making it super uncomfortable here to conclude the Powerbomb pregame.
And I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to see these two in a ring together.
Nick Gage telling David Starr that he's going to see him again. David Starr doesn't seem to be as concerned as I am, just being about 25 feet away from the action. And now David Starr being given a live microphone.
I don't think there's a goddamn question who the fucking ace of this company is. Oh, Joey Janela? Joey Janela, he can keep fucking ducking. Last time I was here, I beat his ass in this very ring. I slammed his fucking stupid head into this goddamn brick wall, and I let him fucking lose to me. I don't give a shit who he tapped out. I don't care about Matt Riddle. I care about David fucking Starr. Because David Starr is the ace of Beyond Wrestling. As you know, and as that t-shirt says right there, I'm really good at professional wrestling. So, we're gonna ring in the new year in a real good fucking way. At the White Eagle, David Starr versus Joey Janela to prove who is the ace of Beyond Wrestling. And every single one of you watching, and every single person who buys a ticket to see it, bring all your fucking weapons.
David Starr laying down the gauntlet for his match with Joey Janela on Sunday, December 31st at the White Eagle, just a few blocks from here.
Just when I thought things couldn't get crazier.
I am bewildered right now. David Starr, he just challenged Joey Janela to a fans bring the weapons match.
David Starr feeling very confident after that win that he can face somebody and beat them at their own game.
Well, it's hard to argue with the results. Again, thank you everybody that joined us at facebook.com/independent wrestling, youtube.com/beyond wrestling. Please join us, Powerbomb TV at 3:30. Sign up using promo code WWRPro, get 20 days free. We'll see you in just about a half hour.
Cats out of the bag, New Year's Eve, 9 p.m. We're going all frickin' night until 2018. Joey Janela, David Starr. Fans bring the weapons. Just one match announced so far for our New Year's Eve extravaganza. We're at the street of the White Eagle. On behalf of myself and everybody at Powerbomb TV, thank you for checking out the pregame. Subscribe now. Use the password WWRPro. You will watch the Women's Wrestling Revolution tournament tomorrow in its entirety this afternoon